Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacconiana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home.
Today we are going to take another look at the insert and how it is burning in this Park Industries Petrol pipe lighter. Don't see these Park Petrol inserts every day, so of course I would like to use it and want it to be usable even if I sell it. So that's what we're trying to do, is tune it into shape. We changed the wick, expected everything to be fine, and it burned up the top portion of the wick pretty good. So we pulled that up and snipped it off, and as you can see, it is singed again. Now in the process this morning, when I got ready to look at the lighter, it was very low on fuel, so I went ahead and refilled it. And when I refilled it, it appears to be burning much better. If you remember last week, as soon as we would light it, or almost as soon as we would light it, that flame would divide. And occasionally it sort of looks that way now, but it has yet to divide and actually looks more like a broader flame that is based off the entire outer portion of the insert's windscreen. So we'll let that cool down for just a second so we can pull it out of there. Then we will trim up that wick and see if it singes so fast again. I got a comment on one of the videos of this lighter last week from May telling me he thought it was a fuel flow problem, and I agree with that in one form or another. I'm not exactly sure. But he also said that as much effort as it was taking me to, or as tight as he said I was pulling it through the hole, he believed that this wick was too tight, too big for the hole in the insert, and that was choking out fuel. I don't believe that is the case, because those wicks slide right in. The reason that it is so difficult to pull out right now is because of how the wick has been interwoven with the wadding in the underneath side of the lighter. Rather than just running it straight down like Park did, which would have been easier to pull up, we've got a full length wick in there that is crisscross, zigzag, S-shaped, and pulling it up through that cotton is what makes it so difficult. But anyway, we're going to go ahead now and pull this up and trim off the singed part, and then hopefully what we were dealing with last week maybe was just me not being zealous enough when fueling it. Even though it was fueled enough to light, it may not have been fueled enough to maintain a flame as it should. And as you can see, that was still difficult to pull up. Probably need to get a better pair of pliers, but that will allow us to go ahead and trim it. Right there where we want to. And maybe a sharper pair of scissors. So get that straightened up. Get our pick and bloom out the top of this wick. So the insert is still fueled and was definitely fueled more toward the full side than where it had been the last couple times that I had fueled it on camera. I overfuel them so often on camera and then get criticized for it that I feel like, what the hell's wrong with you? Just put the right amount in there, but not thinking that I may be not getting enough in it sometimes. And I don't know if the function of a petrol lighter should be that finicky, but there are definitely conditions that different lighters like better than others, so who am I to say? I'm just trying to work with them as best I can. That lit right up, which was never really our problem for it to light up. There is some light singeing already taking place there. And it looks like perhaps the desire of the flame to split again. So we're going to go ahead and switch this out. For an IMCO wick. I'd hope that maybe that was just the trickiness of the fuel level, maybe the reverse of vapor lock, whatever you would call it, I don't know. But while that is not burning quite as quickly as it did before, it still singed the top of that. And again, sort of a cloven flame that doesn't look right to me. While we are performing this operation, I believe we will go ahead and switch out the wadding while we are at it. So we'll reuse this felt pad. Got our flint there. Now we're just going to dig out all of our wadding. And it was all one piece, so it should come out fairly easily, along with our singed wick. Now, wire lead is probably somewhat unnecessary with an insert style lighter, but it has one, so we'll go ahead and feed it down that way. Before we get to that though, I'm going to go ahead and try to mop up some of this buildup inside of this chimney. Just clean that up before we put that second brand new nice wick in there. And I wonder, I haven't seen that many of these Park pipe inserts. I'm not saying they're scarce like a rare Ronson or anything like that. I'm just saying you don't see very many of them. And the fact that there weren't that many makes you wonder how many of them were actually used of the ones that were. And maybe this is just a bad design. Maybe the oxygen and fuel level gets thrown off with the hole being there. It's a smaller hole than the Zippo pipe insert. So I don't know. Just things that I've considered about what may or may not be our problem here. So we're going to go ahead now, feed that wire lead. down the chimney or down the hole, whatever you want to call it, and pull it through. Really simple, really easy. Man, I love these IMCO wicks too, simply because they're so long. You can easily get 2 lighters out of one. So we're going to go ahead and cut that in half, or there and about. Hold that right about where we want it. And then start feeding our cotton, the organic cotton. Shouldn't need more than about that much. And we'll go ahead and tear off part here on the side to feed down the other side of the tube. Go ahead and put it down in the lighter, interspersed with the wick as we go. We've got the end of our wick over here toward the back. That wadding packed in tightly. And we'll go down the other side of the tube. And our straight pick. There's the re-wadded, re-wicked insert. We will, if I can find my flint, there it is. Get our flint back down the tube. Place the felt pad. And the flint spring and screw. Get our flint grooved, moving in the right direction, and tighten the flint spring screw on down. Get our wick over here in place. Of course, those are more limp, not as stiff and prone to stay where you put them as the others are, as the copper woven type. That's bloomed out like we want it. And we got some of our wadding here adhering to the old felt pad. Use the Ronsinol fuel this time. Hopefully that got it full enough. So for the second time, we have an overhauled pipe insert for a Park Industries lighter. This one advertising Hawthorne Roofing, Heating, Air Conditioning Company. But our main issue for this video is, will it light without singeing the wick? Let's find out. Did light, did a little bit of a disappearing flame there for a moment. And now it appears that this wick is both dividing and singeing, just as the other one did. So with brand new wadding, brand new wick, and different fuel, we have the same exact behavior, which tells me that with this particular setup, with this particular mixture of fuel and oxygen and spark, this lighter is just going to be prone to burning the wick, and also to this wonky, cloven, split flame. Still usable. Guess I will put it to use here and see exactly how often I have to pull up on that wick, whether that becomes a nuisance or just part of using the lighter. Until next time, the wheel's hot.